Okay, so we are talking about balancing the cash book. Now you need to understand over here that when you're balancing the cash book, you need to know that the cash book has three accounts. The first account is of the discount, that is the cash discount. Second account which the cash book has is the cash account. And third account that a cash book has is a bank account. You need to balance 1, 2, and 3 accounts in the cash book. You should always remember that a cash account will always have a debit balance. Debit balance means something that you have, and a closing debit balance would always appear on the credit side because there is a rule that the closing balance comes on the opposite side. Cash account will always have a debit balance because you cannot spend more money than what you have. So when you're closing a cash account, you should understand that the debit of the cash account will always be more. The debit side will always be more. You will write both the totals on the debit side as well as the credit side, and you will get the closing balance of cash on the credit side. When you have the closing balance on the credit side, that means it is a closing debit balance. So the rule for cash account is that cash account will always have a debit balance because you can't spend more than what you have. Let's talk about the bank account. Bank account can have a debit balance, which means that the money is lying in the bank. Or bank account can have a credit balance. A credit balance in the bank account means you have overspent money or you have overdrawn the money from your bank. Bank account has a debit balance means the debit side is more. If the bank account has a debit balance, it means the debit side is more. If the bank account has a credit balance, it means that the credit side is more. So if bank account has a debit balance, means debit side is more and closing balance will appear on the credit side. If bank account has a credit balance, it means your credit side is more and closing balance will appear on debit side. So let's recall how many account does a cash book have? A cash book have three accounts. One is cash discount account. Second account is the discount allowed account. Second account is the cash account. And third account is your bank. Another thing, can you tell me, is the cash book a journal or a ledger or it is both? You should know cash book is both a journal as well as a ledger. Cash balance will always be brought down as a debit balance. The bank balance can have a debit balance or it can have a credit balance. What does a debit balance in a bank account represent? A debit balance in the bank account represents money lying in the bank. What does a debit balance in the bank account represent? A debit balance in the bank account represents money lying in the bank. What does the credit balance in the bank account represent? A credit balance in the bank account represents money overdrawn from the bank, or we could say it is a bank overdraft. Cash column is balanced separately. Bank column is balanced separately because they are two separate accounts. cash book will always have a debit balance. Closing balance would appear on the credit side, and when you bring down the balance, it will always be a debit balance at the start of the next trading period. The only exception to this is when there is no cash left in the cash account. In this case, the balance will be nil, but a cash account will always have a debit balance brought down. A cash account will always have a debit balance brought down, and the closing balance would always appear on the credit side. What does a credit balance of a bank represent? It is possible that in a bank you may have a credit balance because the bank allows the business to remove more money than what you have. This is a case of a bank overdraft. This means that the bank is allowing the business to remove more money from the bank, or I could say to pay out more money from the bank than what is put into the bank. Bank may charge you interest on the amount overdrawn. So in this case, when the bank account is balanced in the usual way, if you have a bank overdrawn, the balance brought down will come on the credit side. Now let's balance our books. I will take you to a hard sum where you are balancing your books. Come on. Discount account, it's just done the total and left. Here it is nil and here it is 28. For the discount received account, you will transfer the balance of the discount received account, okay, to the credit side because discount received is an income and the rule for income is debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So the total of the discount received will be transferred to the credit side of discount received account as total of the month. Now I am balancing the cash book. When I am balancing the cash book, the debit total will always be more for the cash book and it will be written on both the sides. Okay. The totaling should happen on the same line. So the debit of the cash will always be more and the closing balance is on the last date as balance closed down. From 700, I am going to deduct 72 minus 40. So what is left in the cash is 588. 588 is the balance closed down. And May 1, 588 will be the balance begin down. Let's talk about the bank. I see that the bank debit side is more. So I will write the more on both the sides. From 10,100, I am going to deduct three amounts. One is 600, one is 700, and one is 160. So after deducting, I'm getting a balance of 8640 and the same balance is brought down 8640. The debit total of cash is 700. The debit total of bank is 10,100. Because I could directly see which total is less, I have written over here. Directly. Let's not do directly and do the balancing of the second sum. Discount allowed has nothing. Discount received has 12. It will go to the credit side of the discount received account as total for the month. and it will be 12. Now balancing will always happen on the last date. The last date for August is August 31, and here it will be September 1. Now the debit total of cash is 500. The credit total of cash is 288. So what I will do is I will write 500 on both the sides. From 500, when I deduct 288, it is 212, and 212 is my balance closed down, and the same will be my balance begin down. 212. From the debit total, I subtract the credit total. I will have the balance closed down on the shorter side, which is the credit side, and it will be 212. Now let's see for the bank. The debit total is 10,300. 10,300. And the credit total is 17 plus 2, 1,900 plus 700. So the credit total is 2,600. I can clearly see that the debit total is more. So I will write the more on both the sides. The balance closed down will come on the shorter side, that is the credit side. So 10,300 minus 2,600. So what is your closing balance? It is 7,700. 7,700. This is the normal balancing. Now you can try this sum for yourself. Pause the video, try this sum, and then see it with the answers, tally it with the answers. Let's start. The debit total of cash is 700. Credit total of cash is 128. Cash account will always have a debit balance. That means the debit side will always be more. I will write it on both the sides. From 700, if I am deducting 128, the credit total is 128. So 700 minus 128 is 572. On the last date, I will have my balance closed down as 572. And on October 1, this will be the balance begin down of 572. Now closing the bank account. So the bank account has a debit total of 71,600. And the credit total is, let's see, 1284 plus 1284 plus 4,200. Add 1,500. Add 8,000. So the credit total is 14,984. That means the balance closed down will come on the credit side as 71,600 less 14,984. So it is 56,616. 56,616 will be the balance closed down, and 56,616 will be the balance begin down. Let's do the next sum. I'm sure you will be able to do this sum yourself, or you can do it along. You will make the total lines on both the side at the same place. Discount allowed is 165, discount received is 28. Discount allowed would go on the debit side of the discount allowed as 165 total for the month. Discount received would go on the credit side of the discount received account 28 as total for the month. Now see, cash account and bank account will be separately balanced. So cash account has a total of 935. It will always have a debit balance. And the credit side of the cash account has a total of 112. The credit side of the cash account will always be less because the cash account always has a debit balance representing the money that is lying in the bank. Okay, so I will write the debit total on both the sides. From that, I will deduct the credit total. I will get how much? 935 minus 112. So I am getting 823. Is my balance closed down? Cash account always has a debit balance. So on the last date, that is April 30, cash account, and then you bring down this balance on May 1, balance begin down as 823. Now let's close the bank account. The debit total of bank account is 16,100. And the credit total of bank account is 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 16. 14, 16. The debit of the bank is more, so I will write it on both the sides, 16,100. From that, I will deduct the credit total. So I will have a balance closed down on the credit side. So 16,100 less 1460 is going to give me 14,640. And the same thing I will bring down. This represents a positive bank balance. Let's do the next one. Discount allowed and discount received. You just do the total and keep. So discount allowed and discount received will be just done the total. And it is kept. There is no discount allowed. Discount received is 36. It will go on the credit side of the discount received as total for the month. Now cash account will always have a debit balance. The debit total of cash is 600. The credit total of cash is 264. Cash account will always have a debit balance. So the balance closed down will always be on the credit side. 600 minus 264. It is going to give you 336. 336, September 30th, balance closed down. 600 I will write on both the sides and it is done. Now bank account, the debit total is 2,800 and the credit total is, let's see how much, 500 plus 284 plus 500 plus 284 plus 1,200 plus 200. So the credit total is 2,184. The debit total is more. I will write it on both the sides. From the debit total, I will deduct the credit total and the balance closed down will come on the credit side. So it will be 2,800 less 2,184. So it is 616 will be the balance closed down. And on October 1, the same will be balance begin down. So this is done with the totaling. So this is called the type 1 balancing. The type 2 balancing is a bit difficult, and this is the part that normally is asked in the question. Let's see. The first thing that you always do is draw the total lines. After drawing the total lines, the discount allowed and discount received will be total. Discount allowed would go on the debit side of the discount allowed as 525, and it will be total for month. Discount received would go on the credit side of the discount received account as 6, and it will be the same thing as total for the month. Now let's go ahead. Cash account. What is the total of the cash account? Cash account always has a debit balance. But now here they have given us an instruction. Cash in excess of 400 is paid into the bank. When they tell you cash in excess of 400 is paid into the bank, that means they are telling you that the closing balance of the cash is going to be 400. Balance closed down is going to be 400, and anything over and above 400 will be put into the bank. So cash in excess of 400 paid into the bank. That means they are telling you that the closing balance of cash is 400, and anything above 400 will go out from the cash. Anything above 400 will go out from the cash, and it will come into the bank. Anything above 400 will go out of the cash out, and it will come into the bank, and this will become a contra entry on the last date. So on the last date, you have two things that is to be done. You need to know how much is going from the cash to the bank. Okay. Now, since the amount is going to come in the cash column, what you will do is you will write bank. And since the amount is going to come in the bank column, what you will do, you will write cash. Now I will do the total. The debit total of the cash is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 75. And the credit total of the cash account is 4, 5, 594. Do not forget to add this closing balance in your credit total. So the credit total is 594. So your balance, the amount, balance closed down I already have, because they said that anything above 400 will go into the bank. So 400 is my balance closed down. So now I need to find out the amount that will be put into the bank. Amount that will be put into the bank. What is the amount that is going to be put into the bank? It would be 1175 minus 594. So 1175 minus 594. So 581 will be put into the bank. After you do this adjustment, you will close the bank account normally. What is the total of your bank account? The debit total. It is 1,800 plus 400 plus 14,000 plus 581. So the total of your debit side of the bank is 16,781. What is the credit total of your bank? The credit total of your bank is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 750 plus 402 plus 12,000. So it is 13,152. Debit total is more. Write the debit on both the sides, 16,781, 16,781. From that, you will subtract 13,152. So you are going to get 3629 as your balance goes down. And the same will be your balance begin down on the first date of the next month. And I have not written the closing balance of cash. Cash debit total was 1175. That I will write it on both the sides. So this is done. Let's do the next one. The first thing that I always do is I will make the total lines. 36 will go to the credit side of the discount received account. Now what they have told you, make this balance begin down as 3,000. Cash in excess of 2,000 is withdrawn from the bank. So anything that is more than 2,000, I am going to withdraw from the bank. That means they have told you this money has to go out from the bank and it is going to come in the cash. Has to be withdrawn from the bank. So money that is above 2,000, withdraw it from the bank. So it is going to go out of the bank and it is going to come in the cash. That means this time they have given you the balance closed down for the bank. Anything above 2,000 will go into the bank. Don't make this real. Okay. So the remaining thing, balance closed down for the bank is 2,000. And the remaining amount you will remove from the bank and you will put it in the cash. Since you're removing from the bank, this bank. So here you will write cash and here you will write bank. On what date? On the last date. So now you have to close as usual. First, as per the instructions, it is related to the bank account. So I will close the bank account. Bank account debit total is 4,100. And the credit total is 3,500, 4,000. So what is going to be put into the, will be withdrawn from the bank? Only 100 will be withdrawn. 100 will go from bank and it will come in the cash. So this is done. So what was the debit total of bank? 4,100 and I will write the debit on both the sides. Now I will close the cash account. What is the debit total of cash? 400. 400. 400. Cash account will always have a debit balance. What is the credit total of cash? It is 104. So 400 less 104 will give you a balance close down of cash on the credit side of 296. And same will become your balance begin down on October 1, 296 and 2000. Let's do the next one. Maintain a bank balance of 8,900. That means the bank account should have a balance of 8,900. So on the 30th, they have given me instructions for bank. It should have a balance of 8,900. So the remaining money will be removed from the bank and it will be put in the cash. Now I will start my closing process because I have written all the instructions that was there. Discount allowed dash, discount received 28. It will go on the credit side of the discount received account. Now first it was instructions for the bank. So I am closing the bank account. Bank account debit total is how much? It is 10,100. Okay. What is the credit total of bank? It is 8,900. 8,900 plus 600 plus 700 plus 160. So the credit total of bank is 10,316. Now when I look over here, I see that bank needs to have a balance closed down of 8,900 and the credit total of bank is 10,316. So what I will do, I will write 10,360 on both the sides, 10,360 on both the sides. To make it 10,360, I will have to put in something over here on the debit side, that is 260. 260 has to come on the debit of the bank account. So if I write 260 on the debit of bank account, so it's bank debit. So that means it has to go out from the cash, and this is a contra entry. Please note, this is what I am doing as per the instructions that is given in the question. So I did this contra entry because the both side total should be the same and it will be the more one. Now this is on the bank column, so I will write cash. And this is in the cash column, so I will write bank. And this is done on the last date. Contra entry is passed. Bank account has been having a balance of 8,900. 8,900 bank account is closed. Now closing of the cash account always has a debit balance. The debit total is 700 and the credit total is 372. So 700 I will write on both the sides. Then the balance close down for the cash is 700 minus 372. Which is 328. 328. And this will become the balance begin down on the first date of the next month. Let's go to the next one. Balance in excess of 14,900 is withdrawn from bank. That means there is something that is withdrawn from the bank. It is coming in the cash. Okay, something is withdrawn from the bank and it is coming in the cash. Anything that is in excess of, make this 1490. Anything that is in excess of 1490. Or you can make it 14,900. So 14,900 is the balance closed down for bank. Remaining will be contra entry. So it is going from the bank. So you will write cash here. It is coming in the cash. So you will write bank here. And this will be done on the last date. I'm just reading the instructions, the main instructions. The remaining closing, I think you will be able to do. So these are the other things where they give you specific instructions on the closing. You can do 165 and 28. This will go on the debit side of discount allowed account, and this will go on the credit side of discount received account. First instructions has been given for bank, so I will close the bank account. Bank account is debit total is 16,100 and credit total is 14,900 plus 600. So the credit total of bank is 15,500. So what will go out from the bank and come in the cash is the difference. 16,100 minus 15,500. 600 will go out from the bank and it will come in the cash. Debit side total is more. I will write it on both the sides. 16,100. Now I'm closing the cash account. Cash account will always have a debit balance. So it is 1,535 is the debit. Credit is 72. 1535 I will write on both the sides. Balance close down will be on the shorter side. So 1535 minus 72. I have 1463 as the balance close down. This will be on the last date again. And on May 1, this will become the balance begin down. Same amount. So this is with the closings of the cash and bank account when specific instructions are given. Redo this again and again so that you get a nice hang of it.